and welcome to Nice to Meet You, a place where we want to strengthen our relationships in the industry by highlighting others and what they're doing in business. My name is Denise, and today my guest is Dr. Jack VonBulow. Hi, Dr. Jack.
Hi, Denise.
Dr. Jack VonBulow is a founder and owner of Temple City Dental Care until recent. He just retired. And fun fact, he was my boss for 12 years. So I did work there in the trenches with Dr. Jack. Well, thank you for coming on and talking to us today. And hey, let's get right to it.
Cool.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
You know, what I do now is a lot less in dentistry than what I was doing a few months ago. But no, I've established the Temple City Dental Care. It's hard to believe, but 46 years ago. Oh my God, man, I was approaching golden anniversary of doing it. And so I've been doing that for a long time. What was important to me, I think I mentor kids. So I mentor high school kids who are interested in health service and science. And so I do that on a quarterly basis. But when I tell them the story, it's like when I started out, I assumed I was going to be a professional athlete. And so that reality, that wasn't going to happen. The only thing I was missing was size, talent, and connections, I guess. But
I'm not going to comment on that.
I chose dentistry after considering art and a couple of other things. But to me, I thought, man, if there's a profession where you can like help people and you can work like together with other people to make a difference, it has matched with my aptitude. And so I tested positive, really great results as far as aptitude goes, science and math. And I really wasn't that interested in any of that. So after reading Making of a Surgeon, Surgeon's World, Surgeon Under the Knife, I knew medicine wasn't for me. And so as I'm in the 10th grade, I decided I'm going to be a dentist. And I thought, man, you can apply some art and creativity to that. So I went to USC, I got out of USC, and for the next 10, 15 years, I was disappointed in dentistry. I felt like a repair guy. And what we were doing was removing teeth, putting in fillings that turned black, and aesthetic work that you could always see the black line. You might have to call the Pope to come in and bless the patient if you hid the black line next to the gum line. So then materials came along that made it exciting. And I found somebody named Ray Bertolotti, and all the materials were transforming and you could be creative. And then a major thing that happened is he referred me to like dental boot camp. And dental boot camp was the first time I ever had any idea that there were systems that were verbal systems and systems in general. And that's where I met my first mentor, not having VonBulow as a name, was Walter Haley. And so we've stayed with Walter and Steve Anderson and Crown Counsel. And we kind of then thought that, well, there is a culture and there's a way of doing things a certain way and making people feel safe and helping them know that we're interested and that we could take on like a family of our own. Right. And so that was a major thing for me. That's what we've been doing ever since. And I think
doing it well, because I know I was right there in the trenches with you for 12 years.
Big part of it.
Doing it well. Sure. That which leads into the next question is, what are some things that have inspired you to run a successful practice for 46 years? I mean, that is just incredible. What has inspired you? You did mention Walter Haley, Crown Counsel.
Yeah. Well, you know what Walter said was like, he goes like, what do you have a passion for? And it's like, well, I've always had a passion for writing. And he goes, well, why don't you make that part of your business? Why don't you use that to reach out into the community? And I go like, that frankly did a lot to inspire me. And then during the whole process, I'm losing my own family. So I'm like the survivor. And then you guys really didn't audition to be family members or anything. It was kind of like my choice. And And when we created those kind of relationships where we had a lot of trust, where we had the same vision, where we were all about community, when you were going out into the community and, reaching
Yeah.
out to different chambers of commerce and
Yeah.
connecting, it helped us just expand our four walls. And to me, that was exciting. And then also certain things like we added, I never thought I'd ever have anything to do with orthodontics. It's like bending wires that never intrigued me one bit. But when we found Invisalign,
Oh, yeah.
that was a big deal because now we could do things without being invasive. And if we were invasive, it could be minimally so. And just the idea that dentistry and medicine, remember, I didn't want any part of that. But now we began treating sleep and
Right.
orthodontics and putting it together with what's going on in medicine. And as Hal Slavkin, one of the deans that I love from USC, who wrote like the Surgeon General report on oral health, general health, it's like we began to know more about each other. It was more far reaching and we can have a greater impact. And so all of that, the people part especially, which you play a major part of,
Right.
role in that, just to me made all the difference. And it made me look forward to going to work. There were a couple of times where I thought dentistry is not right for me. I'll go back and be a tennis pro or something.
Really? Really?
After about 10 or 12 years in. And so, yeah, when it becomes something that you become passionate about, and you look forward to, and you love working with the people who comprise part of your team, it just transforms the whole experience.
Yeah.
Hopefully
We
that
had
rubs
some fun
off.
time, and we had some fun times. Had some crazy times. I'll never forget our first Invisalign day, and it was like, we did it.
Yeah.
And
It's like,
it was
man, is this
awesome.
really going to happen? Are we going to get this done?
Now it's like happening all the time. Well, what advice, Doc, would you give someone in the industry if you had to give a couple of words of advice for not even necessarily a newcomer, but just sometimes we need a little push in the industry? What would you say? Is your time? Speak to the public. What would you say?
Well, we're kind of in that situation. So, yeah, it's a great question. And I go like, there are two things. I think the whole idea of how you relate to people, your team, your coworkers, we don't get this training in dental school. I would reach out. I would look for a path to follow that would emphasize systems that help you work well together. I would think in terms of who can help you come up with a vision that's a good fit for you, because that's what you're projecting into the future. And you want to attract people who can share that vision and be excited about it. And so I think that's a big deal. I also think in just terms in finding mentors, when I talk to high school kids, I go, just what are you interested in? What intrigues you about the future? Look for somebody who's where you want to be and ask them for some help. And it kind of depends on where each practice owner or each leader is coming from. So don't be shy about asking questions. Where I felt some growth is that I would always feel like, oh, this is probably a stupid question, or I would go, oh, I'm not gonna feel good about just asking a simple question. And you know what? That's called reluctance. I learned that terminology from Walter, and it's like you just have to get past that. So depending with me, it was like I found Bertolotti, and that led to dental boot camp. And it's like just having the courage to ask people for help. Clinically, with me, I would go John Coyce. I don't even think twice. That's the path I took. But I had people along the way who I asked about, their colleagues, and I thought, guys, these are people that kind of see things the way I do. And so on the clinical side, that's the path that I took. So mine would be, just don't be afraid to ask questions.
That is such great advice. I take that to heart as well. I'm always asking. People probably are tired of
I
me. I'm
know.
like, hello, can you help me again?
Well,
You know
Denise,
who
you
you
know,
are out there that I keep calling.
we've done every training that you can think of, and you've absorbed what we've learned every step of the way. And most people have a hard time applying it, you know, but not you. So that's what, a lot of respect and admiration for doing that.
Thank you.
It
Thank you so
takes work.
much. And you've been a great example for me as well. You're one of the people I have on my speed dial to ask questions to, along with a few others. I'm like, well, thank you for supporting this new project of coming on and letting me interview you and letting people see what you're all about. And Dr. VonBulow is now retired, and hopefully your golf swing getting better, right?
Yeah, hopefully, hopefully. Yeah, yeah.
And I just have to say personally, it was a pleasure working for you for 12 years. And you helped set the stage for me to go out and do what I'm doing now. So thank you. And for everyone who tuned in, thank you very much. And until next time, make it
Let,
happen.
let me add
Oh,
something too, because I take a lot of great pleasure out of just
okay.
seeing you grow and seeing how you apply everything that
Okay.
and actually take action with it. And so I would say the pleasure is mine. Okay.
Thank you.
And I
Thank you, Doc.
appreciate being part of this, part of the
Thank you. Thank you. That was that. And guys, that wasn't scripted.
interview.
That was pure raw in there. Once again, until next
Absolutely.
time, make it happen.
Okay.